Welcome to Get Paid for Your Pad, the definitive show on Airbnb hosting, featuring the best advice on how to maximize profits from your Airbnb listing, as well as real-life experiences from Airbnb hosts all over the world. Welcome. We are your hosts, Josefa Kapadia and Jasper Rivers.
Get paid for your pad. 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 Get paid for your pad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Get Paid for Your Pad. I'm your host, Josefa Kapadia. Today, Jasper is unavailable, but it's all good. I will be running things today, and I must tell you, we've got a great guest lined up today. His name is Amiad Soto, and he is the CEO and co-founder of a new company called Guesty. Now, this company is on the forefront of guest services for Airbnb hosts all over the world. I mean, they right now manage properties on every continent in about 25 countries. And the way they describe themselves is as a personal assistant for Airbnb. They'll stay on top of things and involved as the primary contact and really facilitate the entire process, especially if you're new to the Airbnb platform. But that's just a little taste of all the things that they do. I will let Amiad give you all the details and the nitty-gritty of what his company can do for you. So without further ado, Amiad, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know you've got a very busy schedule, so I really appreciate you taking the time, as I'm sure our listeners do as well. So before we jump into all the background information, what your company does and all that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Cool. So I'm a 27-year-old, and I founded the company with my twin brother, my identical twin brother, named Kobe. Out of our own need as Airbnb hosts ourselves. We wanted a service that can really help us with all the hard work that is involved with running your own short-term rental, especially when we were out of town and on vacation. And just a little bit of background on ourselves. I am industrial engineering. I have industrial engineering background, but I actually quit after 2 years. I didn't finish my degree. And my twin brother has a law school student. He also put his degree on hold after 3 years. And that's it, I guess.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually an attorney. I don't practice anymore. I practiced for about 4 years, but a law school education does have a lot of application elsewhere. That's really cool. So you mentioned that, and by the way, not finishing your degree puts you in the company of many, many famous and very successful CEOs. So now you mentioned that you kind of got the inspiration for this service from your own experience as an Airbnb host. In what city were you guys renting out a listing?
In Tel Aviv, Israel.
Oh, interesting. That's awesome. So you guys are both from Tel Aviv?
Yes, but we actually had two different properties, one my own and one his, and on two different occasions, one that I flown to the United States and that Kobe flown to Barcelona, Spain, we both rented out our properties, and we both had lukewarm experience, so we both decided that this is a great opportunity.
I see. Oh, that's very interesting. Now, and do you guys still rent out your places in Tel Aviv?
Well, now I live in it, so.
Okay.
But I mostly rent it out when I'm out of town. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So now you got the inspiration. You and your brother. You had the idea. When did you officially launch Guesty?
So we officially launched Guesty at the end of last year, on around November or December.
Okay. And it's my understanding that, I mean, you guys have gotten a lot of buzz as a very excellent service. I think you guys have even raised some capital as of late, some seed funding.
Correct. We raised some money from both San Francisco Valley Angels, and also Israeli VCs.
It's incredible. So there, guys. So guys, if you're listening, it's a company on the rise, and like I said, they've had phenomenal reviews from the properties they've managed. So it's definitely something to think about. So by the way, what cities is your service currently available in?
So since we are an online service, we are available practically everywhere. Currently, we are in more than a couple hundred cities spread on 25 countries. In each continent, actually. We just got a couple properties in both Kenya and South Africa, bringing us to Africa as well.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I know, actually, my co-host, Jasper, who was unable to make it, unfortunately, he just signed up for your service as well, so I can't wait to chat with him about that and see his experience, which I'm sure will be terrific. So now you guys started the company, and so tell us, what do users typically use it for, right? If somebody is a new host and they want to sign up for Guesty, what are the things that they can expect that you guys will handle?
Cool. So first of all, we learned a lot since we opened the company. A couple things is that there are many different types of hosts out there. A couple that do it just when they are out for vacation and they rent out the property to cover their rent, or when people are doing it as a business, or some people even have big businesses of more than a couple dozen properties. And each one of those types of customers have their own different types of needs that they need to fulfill. Most of them just have too many things on their mind, and they don't have the time to handle the property, especially if it's more than a couple of properties and it becomes like a full-time job. And they need some help with it. And since our service is only 3%, it makes a bargain, no-brainer for people to just sign up and have a lot of the work outsourced to us. And we are really specialized in short-term rental, so it makes a lot of sense to use our service.
And just in case people didn't hear that, I want to make it clear, because I think this is a huge point. You guys charge only 3%, is that right?
Correct. We do charge a minimum of $3. So if your listing is less than $100, there is a minimum of $3 per booking, but it's per booking and not per night. So it's mostly, we don't even get there.
Okay. Well, $3 I think is fair, because that's pretty remarkable. We have talked to other companies that do something similar as far as running the listings, and they usually charge somewhere between 10 and 20%. So that's pretty amazing. How is it that I'm just curious to know, and I don't want you to give away all your trade secrets, right? But I mean, when you first began the company, did you envision being able to run a profitable company at that low of a rate, or how did that come about?
Well, to be honest with you, when we launched the company, we didn't know how much we charge. We were out of using the hats of Airbnb host ourselves, and we understand that Airbnb hosts do it in order to make some profit out of it. So we didn't want, as hosts, to share a lot of the profit out. So we figured what will be the price that will let people sign up and try our service, and out of the experience, we'll know what the price is right. And we started with variable prices, and after some testing, we got to 3%. We believe it's reasonable, and we believe that's the price that we should charge our hosts on. And Airbnb themselves are charging hosts 3% as well. So we kept it as a flag of where we should aim.
Right, that's true. That's correct. So if somebody is signing up, and I know an issue that a lot of hosts wonder about, especially if they're traveling, is the check-in. Right, and some people there's different ways to get around it, even if people are doing it on their own. But how do you guys, for example, help guests when they're out of town?
So remembering that we are an online service, we are a management platform that we try to coordinate with your guests and with you and with your third-party services around each check-in. A lot of our customers use lockboxes or smart locks, and some of them even use their own special key holder. And we just coordinate with that key holder, or we coordinate with the guests around the instructions to where the keys are and how to access a property. If you think about it, there are so many options for people to access properties these days, and not necessarily you need to be there in person to give your guests the keys in person. a lot of the experience that people expect is because they are used to hotels, and hotels you normally get keys in person, but Airbnb has brought the sharing economy to a state that people are expecting a new experience, and some of those experiences doesn't require a person to be actually in the property on location, and that partially where we are able to offer our low prices to our customers.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, because I think that is the biggest stumbling block for a lot of new hosts, and that's amazing that you guys handle it. But that also makes sense. Now, when you talk about,
I also want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting. I also want to note that we are launching a new part of our website soon that will be called Academy, and the first lesson in that Academy, or the first part of that curriculum, is going to be about key exchanges, and we're going to name all the options we know of, and there are more than 10. And help people choose the right one for them, and also build a strategy around the keys.
Amazing. Well, that was going to be my next question, is if you had to say, right, if you had to give a couple recommendations as far as, because we also have a section in our book, Get Paid for Your Pad, we have a section in our book dedicated to keyless entry systems. We just recently stayed at a place in Las Vegas that had one, and it was so easy and wonderful and seamless. What are your recommendations for, if you could just give us a couple, for keyless entry systems that you think are terrific and reasonably priced?
Well, it really depends on each of those properties, because a lot of those times people rent their place on Airbnb, they're not the landlords, and they're not allowed to switch the locking mechanism, and therefore they need to choose a keyless system that doesn't require installation from the outside, only from the inside, and so forth. I think that the best solution is to mix a lot of the options, like installing a keyless system plus having a lockbox somewhere for security, and also having some backup plans. Sometimes plans don't work out, and having an emergency option is the wisest choice.
That's a great suggestion. So, for example, I think what you mean is, like, let's say the keyless entry system malfunctions for some reason. You have an overriding lockbox and a key available, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Correct. And also I said that some places are not even installing a automatic or electronic keyless system is not nearly an option because of wiring, or they don't even have permission from the landlord. So it really depends on each of those properties. I had experience with many of them, and some of them are really great, and some of them are just okay, but I guess that it will be part of our Academy experience. So if people will go to our website and go to the Academy section, they will see some of the reviews.
Okay, amazing. Real quick, can you just give a plug for your website?
Sure. Our website is www.guesty.com. Guesty as in guest with a Y in the end.
Okay, perfect. And when the Academy is up, will people be able to find that from the homepage, or is there a second?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be right in the menu, right next to the blog.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your blog.
Well, our blog is a really interesting experience to write, because we are learning so much each day, both from our customers and both from the industry. And having a blog to share this realizations with the world is really tremendously successful, because we both find new customers that way, and we also share a lot of the learning and get some comments and learn more from them. So it's really eye-opening about how much this community is eager to learn, and how much they eager to share with each other.
And for current hosts, is your blog a good resource for getting tips on different questions about hosting?
Yeah, we try to keep some of sections in our blog about like fun and entertainment, like what kind of books that you should keep on your place for your guests to read when they come, and like travel books or even coffee table books and stuff that will be entertaining for your guests. But also we have some actual tips on how to prepare your place for new guests, and also news about the industry and stuff like that. So
that's terrific. Actually, the book recommend. So again, in our book, we have similar sections as well. But the book recommendation in naming specific books, that's a great idea. And so, is it normally tourist type books that you recommend, or do you even have some fiction books that you just think are universal good reads?
Yeah, we normally recommend to our hosts or customers to have books that they prefer the most, because staying in Airbnb, it's a lot about the experience, the connection with the host, and a lot about the atmosphere and the authenticity of that stay. So having your favorite book on the table, on your, even on your desk, it's something that give a little bit of your characteristics passed along. So
that's really cool. It's a great suggestion. So you've probably talked to lots of people. You've gotten a lot of data and information. What is the biggest or the few biggest mistakes that you routinely see hosts making?
Mm-hmm. So number one is obviously about the photos they put on their Airbnb. A lot of them don't put too much attention on putting good photos up. And Airbnb has this service of taking photos professionally for you, but the problem with it is it takes so long until they go up. So I recommend people, if they take it seriously, to take the time on getting some quality photos up. This can't be emphasized more, because this is the most effective or cost-effective to your listing, because people don't read a lot of the text on your listing, but they first go over all the photos. And we've seen so many people ask questions about listings that are right there. They're written black on white, and people just don't read it. But if it was on the photos, people notice. So I strongly recommend people to don't neglect good quality photos.
I see. So kind of what you're saying is, even if you include stuff in the description, let's say about amenities or things like that, the idea is to try and capture everything in the photos. Is that right? Because people don't really read
Yes.
it. Okay. It's very interesting. Now for people, if you say that, okay, we'll take the photos themselves as opposed to using the service, which does send out professional photographers, do you have any...
Obviously, I recommend people to still use Airbnb service, because when people take it themselves, they don't get the verified by Airbnb credentials, which also helps with the rankings of their listings. So I recommend to do both.
Okay.
First, you take their professional photos themselves, and also ask Airbnb to upload and to bring their own professional photographer.
Okay, perfect. And for people who are beginning the process and taking photos themselves before the photographer comes over, do you have any tips as far as how to get the lighting correct or how to make sure you have nice photos?
That's a great idea for another blog post. Thank you for that. Yeah, obviously taking photos at daylight is much better than nighttime, and also keep it landscape, because photos and that are not landscape or normally tend to be very small, and people neglect them. Also, if you have specific items that you think are notable and should be mentioned, like if you have a cat, or if you have some specific pet that you like your guests will encounter, it's really important to have a photo of them as well. Not necessarily on the top 5 photos that you have, but it definitely should be one of those there, because then your guests will know what to expect, and you don't get some cat allergenic people if you have a cat. Another idea is to frame your place. So obviously organize it before you take some photos. We've seen so many people who take photos with all the cluster, and it's obviously doesn't necessarily take people attentions on a positive way. And yeah, I'll work on a new blog post on it, and I'll send you a link.
Awesome. You can list me as a as an inspirational person, right? Maybe not a co-writer.
Of course.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's say there's people who are listening to you right now, and they're on the fence about hosting. They say, I've thought about it, but I'm not sure. And now we've told them about your amazing service. What can you tell them as far as why they should do it, why they should make the leap?
Well, if they use Guesty, they really don't need to do most of the work themselves. Besides the preparation up front and just getting the stuff ready, like buying the extra set of linen and buying the lockbox, for example, they really don't need to do anything themselves, and they just get another set of income from it. So it's pretty much a no-brainer to just even to give it a shot. We also screen potential guests for people, so they can tell us what type of guests they feel comfortable with, and therefore they don't necessarily need to get people they don't feel comfortable with at their place, because a lot of time people are on the fence because they are afraid of having strangers in their place. And if you tell them that they can choose or approve each guest themselves still, and even so, they much more likely to try it.
Got you. Now, and when you work with hosts, do you work with people who have apartments, condos, houses, all of the above, or is there any limitations to what you guys will work with?
Well, we've seen so many types of places we currently manage. Even a hostel now that is considering signing up, and we've been in communication with them for a couple of times. Yeah, we have from anywhere from a whole building to just a condo, an apartment, and even some rural condos that are not like close to any other vicinity. So,
and when you do have apartments, let's say where somebody's renting it, are you usually in contact with the landlord as well, or just the tenant?
Well, it depends on our customer. If our customer wants us to contact the landlord, we can do it. It's important to know that our customer is the top priority for us, and if he's a renter and not the landlord, it's his choice to rent his place on Airbnb. We just follow and help him on fulfilling his wish.
Got you. Terrific. Amiad, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, I know you gave your website today. In case people didn't get a chance to write it down, I'll give it one more time. It's www.GUE, S as in Sam, T as in Terry, Y.com. That's Guesty.com. Now, if people want to reach out to you or anybody at your company to ask questions, what's a good email address?
It's hello@Guesty.com, and they can also click the contact tab on our website, and there's a mailbox option from there. And for all of your subscribers who wish to try us out, if you sign up with the referral code GPFYP as Get Paid for Your Pad, you'll get a trial period for 14 days that even if you get bookings, you won't pay for 3%, even if it's more than the $3 minimum.
Okay, terrific. All right, guys, you heard it here. This is the CEO and co-founder of Guesty. For more information or to get those links, just in case you didn't get a chance to write them down, you can get all that stuff at the show notes. You can find our show notes at www.getpaidforyourpad.com/podcast. And to check out the first 3 chapters of our book for free, go to getpaidforyourpad.com. Also, check out our book on Amazon, top seller in bed and breakfast category. Just go to Amazon and search for Get Paid for Your Pad. Remember, new episodes are out every Monday and Thursday. Thanks again so much for joining us. See you next time. Later,
Thank
guys.
you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Get paid for your pad. 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 Get paid for your pad.